So this is a tutorial for those of you who are more of my winger students, meaning you prefer not using the grid method, which is totally fine. So what I would suggest for you is, or if you are using the grid method, this is still helpful. Go ahead and try your best to just kind of eyeball the proportions of where things are. So that's what I did. You'll notice here with Frida Kahlo on the left in my quick sketch that I did on the right. Now, what I'm going to do is show you how to tweak and basically get correct proportions and how to accurately measure things by using the pencil trick, by using your fingers, things like that. Okay, so let's start off. I'm gonna get a blue so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so if you look at her eye from here to here, okay, I'm using, you can't see this, but I'm using my pencil to measure that from the left of her eye to the right. And I'm noticing that if I take that same line, that width from the corner of her eye to the other corner, right to left, it puts me about here, okay? Then if I take that, the same length of her eye here, and I measure it against her right eye, it's about exactly the same, okay? So the eye length should be the same. I think this is across the board unless you're kind of an oddly eye-shaped person. But what you'll notice is that this space from here to here should be about, oops, hold on. Yeah, it's the same length. So basically you could fit a third eye here if you wanted to. So let's measure that against my drawing and what I have going on. I want to use black, there we go. Okay, so I'm measuring from here to here, okay? And using that same method, good. Got about, let's see if my eyes are the same size. They look about the same size, that's good. And now I wanna go ahead and see the difference between here and her hairline, okay? So if I use that measurement of her eye width, it's actually, I could probably fit exactly one more eye length. Let's see if that's the same for the other side. Yep. Okay. So for Frida here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's, if you take the length of one of her eyes, it's about 5. Her face is 5 eye widths across. Okay. So let's see if I've got that accurate over here. Let me change back to black. I can. Sometimes it doesn't like to pick up black. It's close enough. All right, so if I'm taking that left eye measurement, bringing it over, that's good. Doing the same thing on the right-hand side, good. Okay, so my eyeballing skills weren't too bad. Great. All right, next thing is measuring where my nostrils line up. So I'm looking at Frida's nostrils and I'm measuring it up to her eye. And okay, let's see. Her nostrils should be about here. So it looks like I actually need to expand where I have her nostril lined up. Okay, this is what I mean by tweaking. All right, let's do the same thing with this eye here. This eye, when it comes down, cuts into the nose. So, good. All right, this one's a little bit more accurate on that side. Then I can go back. Whoops. Come back black. Okay. All right, now let's move on to her lips. Let's measure her lips. So if this right here goes up, okay, so about the corner of her eye meets the left-hand side of her lips. Looks pretty good there. And then her right side of her lips almost is the middle of her eye. So I need to extend that a little bit there, okay? And then bring in her bottom shape of her lips. Remember, guys, to make sure you're trying to draw what you see rather than what you think you see, okay? Another helpful hint, or another way I'll express this idea of comparing and matching things proportionally with the rest of the face or body is you'll notice her earrings. So her earrings, the circle part go to about her chin, okay? Let's do the same thing on this side. And then you get these little flowery things that go down beyond, okay? And adding value to this is really going to bring Frida to life. So remember to consider that. All right, so let's look at proportionally her forehead. So if I look at her forehead over here on the actual image, from her hairline to her eyebrow is this length, okay? So let's measure that using my pencil. I'm measuring it from the tip of my pencil to where it ends and moving it over, and good. Okay, so my forehead length is pretty accurate. Good. All right, so right now what I'm doing is I'm just making those adjustments, seeing where I'm accurate, where things need to be shaped up. I hope this is helpful. Obviously, I would go back and I'm going to erase these extra lines here. Again, when I bring those values in, it's going to really help me make her look more alive. What do I mean by values? I mean finding the darks and adding those, using your blending stump, if you don't have a blending stump, a tissue, or your finger, to really bring out those nice transitions from darks to midtones to light and highlights. You'll notice on her nose, see if I can switch to blue here, I've got a lot, oops, that didn't switch to blue. There we go. A lot of shadow on that side, and then a lot of highlight on the left-hand side. So paying attention to those things, guys, is really going to be helpful for getting more realistic looking portraits. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring some shadows. I won't bore you with me doing this, but I think that this will be helpful. At least I hope it will be. All right. So you can see on the right-hand side where Frida Kahlo has a lot more life to her, and that is 2 hours later. So you'll see in the first picture, it took me like 5 minutes for that first sketch, and then it took me about 2 hours to tweak and find relationships and add highlights and lowlights, and it really brings her to life.